stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
Now where did I leave my calipers?
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
A bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
Yes, this is a rare kind of magic. I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. Aren't you enterprising? I'll let Waters tell you no herself. Go ahead. She with the body.
Ugly sight, isn't it?
What a well of knowledge this tomb is. Dallas is such a dear lending it to me.
Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they hurt anyone else. suited for this. It's sea cow, not sea sheep. Haven't got any shears, have you? People these days.
Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. Very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
You take care, though. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs. Name? Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, eh? We're trying to catch a killer here. Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad? You!
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right. I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mezd. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around our campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it.
Forgive me, kin. Whether I had more than gruel to serve. If I'd more than cornmeal and rotting roots, I'd concoct something more
I'm trying to
fitting.
concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
It was one of them. I know it.
And if she tries to run, shoot to kill. You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we?
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen. There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
It was one of them. I know it.
Oh, goodness, no. And don't even mention the demon's testes that are turnips. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic, a bag is as good as a shirt kind of style. I shouldn't be getting my hopes up. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. Just as I thought. That explains what's besieging my nostrils. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you have the taste buds of a dung beetle, the fashion sense of a monkey in a clown suit, and your personal hygiene reminds one of a carcass rotting in the sun.
Your kind always hung closest to her.
That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry.
This wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him. It was one of them. I know it.
I know, but you just don't have what it takes. A good slave's made of sterner stuff, I'm afraid. Still, hone your skills, and one day you may just qualify for a position in a lesser household than mine. You keep dreaming, you hear?
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up? You think me mad? Mad? No.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits. Each one he raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that? You are chill, aren't you? I ain't saying nothing. Bloody dwarves. I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here. The ship, of course.
I've seen more appetizing things.
His eyes snap open. He looks at you and frowns.
Murder?
There's nothing.
That's what they were going on and on about.
Water are all I was.
I wouldn't know anything about it. I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who done it too.
His eyes flutter shut, and he assumes his position of repose once more.
Whether they catch me is another matter. But I ain't one to hide my accomplishments.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums. But there's more. Listen close.
A bit of cabbage becomes a crime. I shall hold my head.
There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
Sing us a song. I know you can. I forgot how to sing. I did.
Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate. Even here.
More appetizing things coming out of
Captain, actually. And that figure tells me we're getting close to the joy. Close to what lies beyond it, too.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't...
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
You a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mist. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, got this wolf on a leash now.
Soon as the Inquisitor gets here...
Magisters are out for blood. You saw the body, didn't you? Big bruiser like you ought to be able to take them on.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken fields.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Well,
perhaps
you're absolutely
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with it.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right? I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Mist. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with it. I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sub-story somewhere else.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp Ifan.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. Ifan seems amused at the gesture, but he bats your arm down from the salute when the Magister sees what you're doing.
You served? Ah, my word. Bravest warriors on Riverlawn. Served Lucian myself. A long, long time ago now. Long before Source became reason to leash a man like a dog.
He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. No. The dead man, Finn, is it? I'd no business with him. and I wouldn't put a man down without good reason.
He glances over at Magister Victor, who's staring back at him with pointed intensity.
Damn shame sheer annoyance isn't reason enough. The Joy, I've heard a lot. Nothing good. No surprise there, since Bishop Alexander runs the show. Wonder if we'll get to meet the ringmaster himself. Not eager to bow before the great Bishop Alexander, son of the divine himself. My sentiments exactly. But Vic here will blow a blood vessel if he hears you talking like that.
What are you conspiring about over there? You, lizard, what's your name?
Oh, don't mind him. Vic's just got a bee in his bonnet. And that bee is me.
Name?
Magister Victor looks at you suspiciously, then scrawls something illegible down in a tiny notebook. He scowls at you as he stows the notebook back in his voluminous robes.
Away with you, at once.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
You are chill, aren't you?
I ain't saying nothing.
Bloody dwarves, I'll come back
Our
to you.
customs mean less than nothing as long as these collars choke us, kin.
Like I said, you aren't on the list.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't care.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He reaches out, flicks a finger against one of your scales, and rubs his chin.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Ah, yes. The niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... Well, I am a seeker of knowledge. That is enough. It is pleasurable to meet you.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away.
Is there? Wherever do you keep it? Certainly not in your books. I have been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in that. Your books are too full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me that they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind?
I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively.
Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book or respond to your questions.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't care. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sat.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates.
That right? I always knew you'd turn up frozen then messed.
Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with him.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, you lay awake thinking of someone back home. A very special someone. You were reminiscing about the things you used to do together. Of course it is. The truth's right there, skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen.
Nothing to see here.
The pale young woman doesn't acknowledge you. She nods to the right without moving her gaze from the ground.
So, anything interesting for me? I'll take that as a no.
You've been collared and you've been told why. There really is no need for you to linger.
to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Well, you've got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here,
You faring okay so far? Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can
And if
make,
she
Your
tries to
Majesty.
run, shoot to
Turnips
kill.
and water are all I was given.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth?
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella.
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
By all means, do as the officer says. But you had better hurry, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls, the hairs on its back prickling as it lowers itself into a lunge.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose once more.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much sauce. Too much.
Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach for your weapon and growls. face to face with an undead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia.
No. What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire. It turns into must when wet. It cannot even resist acid. No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to die a rather terrible death, so...
The skeleton shrugs casually and returns to his book. The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You don't recognize. You press your palm against the door to open it. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind. Circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and now we got void bugs swarming up top. Sorcerer mutiny!
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix. Take out your blade.
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand.
Siran will have to wait. We're not going deeper below decks. Not now. Go then. Get out of here.
the collar, sir.
Another sorcerer! Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too? Go! Do what you must.
desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose. The dog notices you for
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly.
I can't smell. Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach for It sneezes suddenly.
Can't smell. Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach. It sneezes suddenly.
Can't smell. Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach. It sneezes.
Can't smell. Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach. It sneezes suddenly.
Can't smell. Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach. sneezes.
Can't smell.
Please, make it stop. Oh.
Too much.
The dog whines. dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no avail.
You said there were other people down there. We need to help them.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time to get the hell out of here.
Thank you! There's a ladder right over there.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? Hands won't be made.
Never need someone.
You can walk. Get yourself up the ladder. There's a... Wait! Find Woken! These beardless bugs would sink the ship on my watch.
They who are about to triumph.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary. Let the games begin. Hurts, doesn't it?
I've faced worse.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan. The one who put on this damn collar. Sounds like she needs help.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.